The South African country of Zimbabwe is choosing a new president today. It's for the first time since former leader Robert Mugabe was ousted. Here's a quick breakdown of why this election matters.
This election in Zimbabwe is a huge milestone for what's been a very troubled country with an even more troubling financial crisis. And here's why. It's the first time since 1980 the name of Robert Mugabe isn't featured on the ballots. He was at the helm of the country for almost 40 years, and it seemed nothing could prize him away. Mugabe's departure from his presidential throne was as quick as it was unexpected. The big coup unfolded after a fight for power between Mugabe's own wife and his right-hand man. The First Lady, also known as Gucci Grace, and the Vice President nicknamed as the Crocodile, each accused the other of poisonings and death threats. And it seemed Grace had won her way when her 93-year-old husband sacked the Vice President. But suddenly the army stepped in, taking control of the capital. Just as the parliament was moving to impeach Robert Mugabe, he quit to allow a smooth transfer of power. And the crocodile finally got his teeth into running the country.
All right, so let's look at whom Zimbabweans will choose between. Emmerson Mnangagwa is a member of the ruling party and the incumbent president. He was appointed after Mugabe was ousted. Mnangagwa is a former ally of the ex-president, though Mugabe said he will not support him, claiming he actually assumed power illegally. Now, this presidential candidate is expected to get 40% of the vote. That's according to the latest polls. This is more than his main rival, Nelson Chamisa, is expected to get. He is the current leader of the opposition, but also works as a pastor and a lawyer. Chamisa is 40 and, if elected, would become Zimbabwe's youngest ever president. Now, the two candidates do have opposing political views. Mnangagwa reportedly favors good relations with Russia and China, while his rival Chamisa is pro-Western. He traveled to the US to meet the State Department and members of Congress at the end of last year. And RT spoke to political analyst and author Howard Feldman, who says the US does have an interest in this election.
I think it's a fairly dangerous and fairly obvious that the US are going to have some form of influence. In recent days, we have seen the withdrawal of funding from the Americans, from NGOs. We also do know that there are still sanctions that the US have applied to Mnangagwa. There's definitely some form of politicizing of or interference of the elections by the Americans. And I think America's playing quite a dangerous game with this, because if the wrong candidate, as far as they're concerned, which is Mnangagwa, if he retains power, if he is able to succeed, and it does look like he's going to, then America will certainly be left on the outside of it, having used their influence, financial and political influence, during the run-up to the election. I don't believe it's going to be viewed very positively once the result has been announced.
Many countries have strict rules on what can be done during political campaigns, and Zimbabwe is no exception. Some of its restrictions, though, are very special.